Okay, so all of the coaches for finding the next great HR technology at the HR Technology Conference are here. I've been waiting for this for weeks, not just to find out who the finalists were, but to talk to you guys about it. We've been off coaching our semifinalists, and I'm excited to hear what everybody's up to. Let's start. We'll keep it quick for everybody out there, but start with you, Madeline. Just the conference itself. What are you excited about for HR Tech this year?
Well, I'm excited as always to catch up with old friends and see new friends and put faces to names, and it's always a great time to reconnect in the industry. But I'm very excited this year to see all the startups. I think this industry has grown a lot, and each year there are more and more startups, and to me that's where a lot of the innovation is happening, and that's why I'm very excited about this session.
Yeah, the startups that's always fun. And Lance, what about you?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to some of the startups, talking to some of the bigger vendors that are doing some really interesting things, trying to keep innovating and disrupting themselves, and also learn from some of the practitioners that also have some new ideas about how to deal with this sort of changing workforce. And looking forward to seeing all of you too, and some of my other friends that will be at the conference as well.
Great. Ben?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really pumped about hearing some of the stories. They always get really good practitioner stories, case studies together, and just to be able to hear what some of these people are doing, how they're solving their problems, how they're approaching things with technology or just with a new strategy or some innovation there. I'm really pumped to hear about those things because, again, they're names that all of us are familiar with, and it's always great to hear that some of the nuts and bolts don't change no matter how big you get. And on the other side, again, there are new technologies that people are looking at adopting that are helping them to solve those problems in new ways, which again brings us back around to the conversation we're having today about some of these new vendors.
Yeah, and I'm excited about all of that, seeing all of you and everybody in the industry. And I always walk away from HR Tech with a new view to what's coming. I get a sense from those practitioners and startups and vendors and all of you guys as to what people are doing out there and what to expect, what to look for in the next year. So that's always interesting because there's always something new that I wasn't thinking about that people bring to the table. So now, okay, what we're really here to talk about is the session, the competition. And there's been a lot of work that we've all done, these vendors have done. Now we know who the finalists are. So let's hear about, that process, those vendors and your finalists. Madeline, why don't you kick it off? So tell us about your vendors and who's in the competition.
Yeah, this was a really fun process this year because last year we each picked two providers and they were all on stage. This year was a little bit different. We each picked two, and then we went into a semi-finalist round where people could vote online. So it was exciting. Yeah, very exciting to watch. And the two companies I picked were Movilla and Best Money Moves. And what I was looking for in providers were three things: strong leadership, an ability to provide a positive experience, and then an ability to execute on their vision. And I saw that with both providers. Really wish they were both finalists for this because they're really impressive solutions. Movilla is a product that helps companies become smarter in how teams work together and really empowers executives to be more accountable, for teams to be more engaged. It's a very impressive solution. And Best Money Moves, which is the company that will be on stage, is a financial wellness company. And it's very simple, which is appealing to me. It's a solution for employees to make sure that they really understand what their options are, to be able to feel a little bit empowered and in control of their financial situations, and then employers to be able to provide a solution for those employees. So great product, and I'm excited to see them present on stage.
Yeah, those were two great selections, and two both represent some big trends out there that we're all seeing. Ben, what about yours?
So in the competition, I was looking for companies that back when I was working as an HR executive, I would have loved to have written a check and be able to use their product, their service, because I think there's there's a lot of really neat stuff out there, but there's a lot of flashy things, and I'm not sure, how much value there is. And so again, that's a different conversation for a different day, but I'm really looking for things where I would have loved to have taken advantage of it. So the two companies I picked were Papaya Global and Proxfinity. Forgot Proxfinity's name for a second there. So Proxfinity is a company that focuses on collaboration, right? And a different kind of approach to what Madeline was talking about with Mozilla. But Proxfinity, they said, you know what, we see people get together all the time, at onboarding where we have 50 people come in, or we have this event where we're trying to build some diversity and try to get people to be more inclusive. But at the end of the day, it turns out that each person only talks to people that they're already familiar with, they're already comfortable with. They didn't get out of that. Even though people want to do more of that, they're not sure how. So they have these wearable badges where when you walk into a room, if you run across someone that has a similar interest, it blinks with their initials. You get together, if George's initials pop up on my badge, he walks over and we introduce ourselves and we start talking about what we have in common, and we start making some connections there. And it's really neat because it forces that collaboration in a way, and it gets people out of their comfort zone, and it can connect people across, functional boundaries, whatever else, in a way that, again, just traditional face-to-face conversations don't. And so I love blending kind of a piece of tech with that. Unfortunately, Proxfinity didn't make it to the finals. Good solution, just didn't make it in the voting. So the final that's going to represent, or I'm going to work with them to coach them on stage, is Papaya Global. Papaya is a global payroll compliance solution, and I know that sounds super duper sexy, but what they do is they help companies that are trying to expand into other countries, help companies, large firms that are saying, hey, we have to put some people here, help us just get our basic things in place, but also help us understand, hey, if we need to hire 50 developers tomorrow in Brazil, they can help you connect with the right suppliers, handle the payroll and all the other stuff behind the scenes that normally is a second thought to the business leaders. It's just taken care of, and it's a really neat solution. Again, I'm excited about it because I put people in other countries. I know how painful that is, how challenging it can be, and so I'm pumped to let them get up and tell their story a little bit about how they're helping employers to do that well.
Cool. Lance?
Yeah, so I picked two companies that I thought were kind of fitting and hitting gaps in the market that I thought were really well apparent, and also things that, very selfishly, also looked really good up on the big screen. I wanted to make sure that people have a good show at this event. So the first company I picked was Bob, and they're out of the UK, and they provide HR and benefits administration for SMBs. And I know from reading George LaRock's HR Wins reports that SMB is wildly underserved. They have a great product that really makes it super easy and intuitive. I wish I would have had it when I was in HR. It just looks really good, and it's really slick, and it adds a lot of functionality to a group of people that are really underrepresented. So I'm bummed they won't be able to make it on the stage, but the company that's going to take home the gold this year is going to be Blueboard. And what we're really looking for from them is really sort of a new way to think about rewards. Rewards is something that's been in HR for a really long time. It's one of the oldest parts of our industry, and one of the really big cool things that they do is they sort of say, like, let's stop with the stuff. I've got enough iPods, I've got enough stuff for my kid, I've got enough iPads, I got enough TVs, I got enough tchotchkes and that sort of stuff, logo wear. Let's give them experiences, and let's make those experiences as easy and as scalable as possible. So, being able to go to Patagonia or be able to skydive, all things that sound really great in theory for me, but maybe not great for me personally. But all these cool experiences, going to the beach and scuba diving, maybe that's something, snorkeling and that sort of thing. It kind of brings that to companies at scale and makes it super accessible. The product looks great in demo. I'm really looking forward to having everybody take a look at this. They're going to be just as impressed as I am. This is going to be kind of I think a trend that's going to be really enforcing sort of the employee experience and understanding more about, okay, how do we provide the value and how do we reward employees in an era where we don't need to do it with gold watches or fancy tchotchkes.
Okay, all right. So I picked two as well, and the first one, the company that didn't make it through the semifinals, was Beekeeper, and I was excited about Beekeeper because of their focus on the non-desk workers. So you think about industries like hospitality, healthcare, construction, and so forth. Folks are out in the field or out with the customer on site, and they don't have a computer. They don't have access to what much of the HR technology in the past has been designed for, someone in front of a screen, a large screen. So they've taken HR and employee communications, engagement, and et cetera, and really tailored it for that workforce that is where I think where most of the world works these days. And so I was excited to if they made it through, but the company that did make it through, I was equally excited about is Beamery. And Beamery is in recruitment marketing and CRM. We've seen that category emerge in the last couple of years. What makes them really different, and I think probably why they got the votes through the semifinals, is because they really automate a lot of the marketing intelligence that you need in order to run a successful campaign. So they're using machine learning and things like AI, but they're on the back end. And the recruiters and sourcers, talent acquisition leaders are focused on doing what they know how to do, engaging talent, finding talent, and getting them into the hiring process. And Beamery is making them more effective recruiters by providing that marketing intelligence into their process. So I'm excited to see how all of this goes. I think we've all got 4 great vendors. I'm glad you brought up the gold, Lance. Because while everybody participating gets gold, only one championship belt goes out, and we'll see who gets that. So I was biting my nails through this whole process because as Madeline said, we crowdsourced the votes, and there were thousands. It was super successful, over 5,000 votes. Were you guys like me? I was like on the edge of my seat all weekend, waiting to find out.
Yeah,
I was for sure.
Definitely.
I was totally, I was, and I didn't know who was going to win. It was like, who's going to pick the prettiest child out of the 2 you have. So, I'm really excited just to see what happens on the stage in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to see all of you in Las Vegas. And I know I speak for everybody. We're looking forward to seeing everyone in Las Vegas. So it's finding the next great HR technology. It is taking place on Tuesday, October 10th. It is the first mega session to kick off the event, and so you can't miss us. We're on a big stage, and I hope we see you all there. All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks.